Chris Klieman, head football coach at Kansas State, with us on 365 Sports. Man, it's always great to see you. Always great to hear from you, have you on the show. Always learn something. That's what it's all about, right, is learning something no matter what it is.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's always fun to talk to you and talk a little football and talk a little other things other than football as well. So my pleasure to be with you guys.
So your football team, your program is consistent. They're good. You guys knock on the door. I know you want to get better and reach that next level. Why would this year be that year? Because of consistency or because of a couple other things?
I think it's because of guys that would put the team before themselves. You know, that's who's going to be the two teams standing in December 6th, honestly. There's a lot of really good, talented teams here. There's a ton of good quarterbacks in this league right now. It's loaded. So it's the team that can put the we before me, and that's the challenge for all of us coaches.
What is Avery Johnson year 3 now like compared to where he was the last couple of years?
Well, hopefully you guys can see it for starters because he's about 18 pounds heavier and he's got 15 pounds of lean muscle mass and he's looking more like a grown man.
That's hair included, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's always had the great hair. He's got the body to match it.
Yeah.
And he's also was a true sophomore. Now he's an upperclassman, true junior, and he's got 13 more starts underneath his belt. And Avery's the biggest critic on himself, and that's the great thing about Avery is he looked at his poor plays more than he looked at his good plays this entire year, and he had some poor plays that ended up being good plays because of the type of athlete he is. But we're trying to keep him to take the layups when there's a layup, to stay in the pocket when you have a chance to run and get out of bounds and avoid that hit once in a while. But he's got, 13 more games under his belt. He's so much better pre-snap and post-snap because he's seen so much now. He spends a lot of time on it. That's one thing. That kid spends so much time watching film and taking care of himself.
We know that you mentioned the league and quarterbacks, and we know there's instances where schools have come calling and then the portal and everything that is what it is. How much defense did you have to play, if any, this offseason? Did you have to play defense with a guy like Avery? Not that he's looking, but
no
that
doubt.
people are looking at him.
No, I think everybody in this league played a little bit of defense because of all the quarterbacks. The one thing I keep saying is they're all here. They all stayed.
You're right.
That's exactly right.
They all stayed, so it tells you they believe in their teammates, they believe in their coaching staff, they believe in the place they're at, they believe in the Big 12. I didn't have any deep conversations with Avery. I trust Avery, and I trust his family, and I trust his people that surround him, that Kansas State's the best spot for him. And I also would tell you we surrounded him with better people this year. We have better wide receivers. We have a deep tight end room as we always have. We've got better on defense. Now, if we can stay healthy, who knows? But I didn't have to go and say, hey, don't take this one. I think Avery knows his situation is really good here.
How much is it in the modern era, too, of finding that delicate balance of – because, guys, I mean, maybe with the house settlement, those things will balance out to where you can't just straight up money whip
Let's
a guy.
hope so.
But to be like, look, if you're going to get, X amount of dollars here and you're going to get $20,000 more here, like $20,000 is not going to make or break you. Which place do you really want to be? Like, what's the best for you as a player? Not like, oh, they'll beat it by $50,000. Well, that'll last you about a year. Like you're not gonna you're gonna change your life on that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we're trying to get under control because that that $50,000 isn't going to change your outlook. But if that agent's getting 20%, he can do that on 15 kids.
Yeah,
he just made himself a pretty good chunk of change. And so I think some of the guys listening to poor advice has led to poor decisions for the last couple of years. And we're trying like heck to get certified agents. We're getting Congress involved. I met with our senator. We're meeting with senators all over the place because we need help right now because we don't have a commissioner of college football.
Chris, the last time we talked with you, I believe, was during spring or wrapping it up or whatever. But the big you could feel it in your heart, the walk-on program, and how concerned you were. And at the time, we didn't know. Where is that now? And did they give a little bit that allows a K-State, Iowa State, and others to have what you need?
Yeah, not enough. We hope it changes back. We did not offer one walk-on kid this cycle. We had all these camps. We used to offer 15 of them. We didn't offer any. I hope it cycles back. and it's going to at some point, in the fact of with rosters as small as they are, with kids getting injured, with us still having a redshirt year, you're going to find somebody's going to back out of a bowl game because they don't have enough guys. Then there's a portal. We don't know when that portal is. We are fighting like heck to get 5 for 5 from an eligibility standpoint. I've got a 7th-year kid here with me. I've got a 6-year kid here with me. Awesome. They deserve it. They've earned it and that stuff. But if you're a junior college kid and you come into my office and say how many years you have left, I have no idea what to tell you. I can't even answer the question. If you transfer from Division II and you're only a sophomore, I don't know what to tell you because it's blanketed for a year. And then what does that mean? We've got to get this under control so that, these kids can play, but they can play 5 years. And in that way, none of us are worried about it's game 4. Okay, I'm going to be out of here. Unless my money goes up or unless something changes, I'm going to be out of here. Or the agent's going to tell them, okay, that you're good. Let's go to the next spot. I think we can get we got to get it where 5 years can play 5 years.
That seems to be one of the most simple rule changes that they could make. There's not a lot of complexity to it.
No, and I think you hit it on the head when you say they can make. Who's they?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Who's it? Yeah,
who's? If that's all coaches, we're done right now. But we don't have the chalk last. Mm-hmm. We're the practitioners. We need to have the chalk last on this, and right now we don't. Whether it's administrators, commissioners, presidents, Division I council that doesn't have a football coach on it. I don't know. That's something we're fighting every day.
There's not a football coach on the D1 council?
I don't believe there is. There's one on the football oversight committee. It's Brett Bielema who does a great job, but on the oversight, I don't think there is.
That's crazy.
So while we're kind of talking some bigger picture things here, the Big 12's let it be known that they wanted to go with the 5-11 format.
Yep.
How much time did you spend thinking about this? And what was basically what you boiled it down to?
A lot of time we spent on it, and we spent a lot of time in May in Orlando about it, because until we can get uniformity in the scheduling of conference games, there's no reason to do AQs. We have the best opportunity in the Big 12 if there's 5 AQs and get the 11 best football teams, because the narrative is records. Well, if we got to play an FCS team on November 14th, we'd all have another win too. We just don't have that. And so we've got to get uniformity to the amount of conference games everybody plays. But I like the 5-11 because, you got to play every week this way.
That's the 1 week a year, though, that the SEC doesn't talk about itself.
I didn't say any league.
You said that.
I said that.
Say, yeah.
I said that.
That's like me telling Frost he said his roster's loaded. It's not. Yeah.
Sometimes you just want a visual reaction.
Yeah, but you don't know. Him at the poker table, that's a bad deal.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you guys have been, because you are a smaller Midwestern school, and you have to maybe work harder to tell your story, there does need to be uniformity. The committee needs a sheet that says, here's how we weight the strength of schedule. Here's what it is. And it has nothing to do with last year. It has to do with who did they beat this year? How good was that team this year? And not, did you happen to schedule Notre Dame 4 years ago and now Notre Dame's not good, but it's still Notre Dame.
We need to have the polls come out the same time the CFP, never before.
Exactly.
Man, I totally agree.
There's another thing that makes sense.
As coaches, we said we will not do a coaches poll when we were down in May, and we were like, sorry, ADs, we're not doing it. They agreed. But we should not have any of these polls come out until CFP does.
Chris, appreciate your time.
Absolutely,
Great
guys.
to see you as always, and we look forward to having you on sometimes during the season, too.
Awesome.
Thank you. Chris
We'll
Klieman,
do it. Appreciate it. Thanks,
head
guys.
football coach at Kansas State with us on 365 Sports.